Waitress is fired for talking back to Billionaire next day. Her lawyer serves the owner. Paper Sima had worked at the Grand Oak Steakhouse for 3 years. It wasn't glamorous, but the tips paid for her night classes in law. She was quiet, professional, and respected by customers. One Friday evening, a loud party arrived led by a billionaire investor, Victor Lane. Known for his arrogance, he snapped his fingers at staff, made demeaning comments, and waved his gold watch at anyone who didn't move fast enough. When Emma politely reminded him about the restaurant's no smoking inside policy, he sneered. "You're a waitress. That means you do what I say," Victor barked. Emma stood firm. "Sir, I can get you anything off the menu, but the rules apply to everyone." The table laughed at her attitude. The billionaire whispered something to the restaurant's owner, who had come running to appease him. Within 10 minutes, Emma was pulled aside. "You're fired. You don't talk back to people like him," the owner said coldly. Emma walked out with her head held high, though her hands shook. That job was her lifeline. But what no one at the steakhouse knew was that Emma wasn't just a waitress. She was months away from finishing law school, with one of the city's most respected attorneys as her mentor. The very next morning, papers were served. The lawsuit outlined wrongful termination, violation of labor rights, and hostile work environment. The billionaire had bragged loudly enough that witnesses came forward, backing Emma's side. Even worse for the owner, the press caught wind of the story. Waitress fired for standing up to billionaire investor. Within weeks, the steakhouse faced not only legal action, but public outrage. Customers boycotted. Victor Lane's reputation took another hit, his investors pulling back from deals. As for Emma, she didn't just win her case, she passed the bar exam soon after. Standing outside the courthouse after the settlement, she smiled at her mentor. "Guess I won't be serving tables anymore. Not unless it is a serving supoinas." Her lawyer laughed. Emma had lost a job, but gained the career she was destined for. The Friday night shift at the Grand Oak Steakhouse was always chaos. Crowds in suits, fresh from the financial district. High-profile deals whispered over steaks, and customers who tipped big, but expected the world. Emma had grown used to it. She moved like clockwork, memorizing orders, dodging arrogant remarks, and flashing polite smiles, no matter how tired she felt. What the world didn't see was the mountain of law books in her small apartment, the late night studying, the dream of one day fighting for those who couldn't fight for themselves. But that night, everything changed. The incident: Victor Lane's party stormed in just after 8, 5 men and 2 women, all draped in luxury. He was the kind of billionaire who wore arrogance like cologne. "Where's my private room? Don't tell me you gave it away," he barked at the hostess. Emma, assigned to his table, approached carefully. Victor snapped his fingers for drinks, tossed his coat at her without looking, and demanded off-menu items. Emma delivered everything with patience, until the moment he lit a cigar in the dining hall. "Sir," she said firmly, "I'm afraid smoking isn't allowed indoors." Victor smirked, blowing smoke deliberately toward her. "Do you know who I am?" "Yes, and the rule still applies," Emma replied evenly. The table erupted in laughter at her audacity. The billionaire's eyes narrowed. "Fire her," he muttered to the owner, who had rushed over to keep him happy. Minutes later, Emma was told to clear out her locker. No warning, no explanation, just gone. The aftermath: Emma walked home that night, numb. Rent was due, bills piled high, and she'd just lost the one job steady enough to keep her afloat. But beneath the fear was something stronger: anger. She called her mentor attorney, Marissa Holta, woman known for shredding corporations in court. "They can't do this," Emma said, her voice shaking. "He humiliated me, and they just him." "Then let's teach them a lesson," Holt replied. The lawsuit by sunrise. Papers were drawn. Wrongful termination, retaliation, violation of labor laws. At lunchtime, the owner of the Grand Oak was blindsided when a process server walked into the restaurant, handed over the documents, and announced, "You've been served." Employees whispered, customers stared, and by evening, the story hit local news. Waitress fired for talking back to billionaire investor. Witnesses from the restaurant reached out, confirming Emma's story. One even admitted the billionaire had bragged about making the girl pay. The public didn't side with Victor Lane, they sided with Emma. Social media lit up with support. Hashtags trended. Customers canceled reservations. Courtroom drama. The trial months later was explosive. Victor's lawyers painted Emma as a disgruntled waitress with a bad attitude, but Holt dismantled them piece by piece. Employees testified about the toxic culture, the favoritism shown to wealthy patrons, the threats of termination if anyone embarrassed high-rolling clients. Then came the security footage, clear as day. Emma standing calm, professional, while Victor leaned back in his chair, blowing smoke into her face. The courtroom went silent. Emma, sitting at the plaintiff's table, felt the balance shift. The verdict: the judge ruled in Emma's favor. Compensation for wrongful termination, for emotional distress, legal penalties, for labor violations. The steakhouse paid a heavy price. Victor Lane's reputation took another public beating, his investors pulling out of key projects. A new beginning months later. Emma stood in front of a courtroom again, not as a plaintiff, but as an attorney. She had passed the bar exam. Case 221B. Emma Clark representing the plaintiff, she announced with steady confidence. Her mentor smiled proudly from the gallery. The waitress who once carried trays now carried justice, and when she walked out of court that evening, reporters asked what she thought of the billionaire who'd tried to break her. Emma simply replied, "He gave me the push I needed. I should thank him."